Hello everyone, my name is Himanshu Sharma, and in this video we will see how easy it is to work with Vaadin and how you can create your UI apps without getting out of Java. So let's get started and let's head to the start spring.io initializer, and let's define the group and artifact. So we'll be using Maven, Java 21, and in the dependencies we will be using only Vaadin. And go ahead, generate it. You can check the explore option here. You should be getting only one Spring Boot starter for Vaadin starter and a Spring Boot starter test. Go ahead and download this package and open in your favorite IDE. Alright, so I'm opening it in IntelliJ and it's resolving dependencies. And by default you will be just getting one application class. So before getting into the code, let me show you what the Vaadin is. So Vaadin is a web app platform for Java developers. So basically you can create your UI apps without getting out of Java. You can use your favorite Java language and develop your UI apps using the same. You don't need to get into JavaScripts to learn any React or Angular or like that. So let's head to the documentation here, and here they have a very thorough documentation of their components, and you can see here in the component section you are getting a list of all the components that you can use, and we are going to use this one, grid. Okay, so we'll be creating a phone book app which will be listing users with their name and phone numbers, and then you can add a new user or you can filter with the list. Okay, all right, so let's head to the code. And I already have this application set up on my local, so I will be referring that to speed up the development. Alright, so right now this is just a Spring Boot application and you don't have anything. You can delete these two. Now you can remove them. Alright, and we can rename this to be as YAML. Even though we are not going to do much onto this one, I think yeah, this is fine. That's all we need. Okay, so let's get started. So first let's quickly test our application is running. So let me start it. And it is running anytime now. Yeah, started, right? So now if I go and hit localhost 8080, I'm not getting anything. What it is saying, no views found. Okay, so the thing is we need to add a view for this route. Right now it's a blank one, but there is no view, and it is giving you a very helpful code snippet that you can create a view like this. Okay, so let's go ahead and create our first view. So first let's create a package and let's name it as views. Okay, and then let's say we create a class as phone view. Alright, so in the view the first thing we need is we need to add a route, right? So let's add it and import class. That's it. So we are adding a route here. Okay, and then we will be calling the constructor, defining the constructor here, and we are going to extend this with some layout, whether you want a vertical layout or a horizontal layout. So I'm going with the vertical layout. So when you're working with Vaadin, it's all about arranging the different layouts on your screen. Okay, so if you want your icons, your elements to become vertically, then your container should be having a vertical layout. If you want your elements to be horizontally placed, then your container should be extending the horizontal layout. So right now we are saying that phone view is going to be vertical layout because we want items to be so it will list down vertically. So I will show you what that mean. So right now let's quickly okay, let's head to the hint what we get. Add new heading, right? Or let's take any other field. Let's say I say text field, right? I'm saying text field tf, and you need to be careful here. Whenever you are importing, make sure you are using the Vaadin component, not the AWT one. So text field tf, okay, and let's say I add another text field. Let's say phone 1, phone 2, okay, and then I'm going to call the add method, and here I'm saying that okay, add tf to this component and add tf2. So what this add is doing is it is adding these two components in the phone view layout, right? So let's restart our application and see its effect. Alright, application started. So now let's head to browser, reload it, and you see now we are getting two text fields vertically placed, right? And our route is same, blank. Now we will do two things here. First thing is, let me change it to horizontal and we'll see how that will impact, right? So we say horizontal layout and we remove that, and then another thing is here I will say hello. Okay, I will assign a route, yeah, or let's say phone, that way. Okay, so let's restart it. Okay, it started. Go ahead, refresh, and oh right, because now we have changed it to phone, right? So now if I click on it, so see the information what it's giving is could not navigate to blank because now that route is no longer available, and the available route says phone. So now I put phone over here, enter, and you see the second difference here. When we had vertical layout, the components were placed vertically. Now we extend our view with the horizontal layout, so components are being placed horizontally, right? So that's how it is. Like whenever you are defining your views, or you want you want a view which is vertical layout, but inside that you want to place certain elements as horizontal. So let's say if I want to add another component, but I want that component to be placed down below, not alongside this one. So in that way, the approach which I use is you can do is like create a layout, horizontal layout, and then put that horizontal layout into your main view, with that main view is extending the vertical layout, right? So let me show you in a better way here. Oh, right here. So the thing is, let's say if I have like this, okay, this is the view, and I have two components like this one and these one, they are horizontally placed, and then I have one like this. So what I can do is I will say that this one is going to be vertical layout, and then I will create another layout which is this one, this layout I will say that this is a horizontal layout. Okay, and then I will put this layout inside the vertical layout. So any number of components I need to add inside this one I can add, and they will be placed horizontally. And then this component I will add in the vertical layout, so it will be placed down below. Alright, enough drawing. Let's get back to the code and let's head to our phone book, and we revert it back to vertical for now. Okay, and we revert this also, and yeah. Alright, so as we discussed earlier, we will be targeting this component, the grid component, right? So what I will do is I will first create a grid component, and even before that we need some data to hold the grid, right? That grid can hold. So if I okay, let's get over here. So if you go to the show code option, here you can see how it is. Sorry for that, but yeah, you see the grid is of like person class, and then it will whatever data is held by the person class, that will be listed down over here. Okay, so we will be using the same approach. So here first we'll create our model class. Let's create a model right here, and then I say you know what, we can create a record in this case, and we say person, right? And now in the person I need few details, which is like first name, yeah, last name, and string home for home phone and for work phone, like this. And you see the nice long the suggestions I am getting. So let me assure you that is not any chat GPT sorry, what do you call that, copilot integration. That is not the copilot integration that is coming out of the box from IntelliJ, the ultimate edition. So that's a really helpful feature. And all right, so where is it? Okay, so we created a person record, and that's it. Now we are not going to touch this record class anymore. You can close it. Horizontal layout we don't need. And here now I can create a grid, right? So what I'm going to say is that create me a grid of person class. Okay, and I will say like grid and new grid, right? And then here I will say person.class. All right, and then what we are going to do is we will be adding columns. So what we can do is we'll say this grid.add column, and what's going to be the property, it is our person first name, and what is going to be the header for this, and we will give a nice header as like this. Okay, and same thing we will do for other. So let me get it. And all right, this one we can remove, and yeah, that's it. And now in the add we are going to add the grid, right? All right, so let's refresh, sorry, restart and see how it will behave. So we have changed the route back to blank, so it should be working with just the localhost and the port. So let's head over here, localhost port, we can remove the phone. All right, so we are getting the headers but no data here, right? And one more suggestion I get in one of the comments is to use dark theme that is more comfortable for the eyes. So why not make our view here also with some dark colors, right? So let's go ahead and let's do that and see how Vaadin support the dark theme too. For that, let's create a config class here, and before that let's create a config, right? And we define a class app config. All right. Now here, to activate the dark theme, what we have to do is we'll just implement app shell configurator, and then we say theme, this one, right? And then the variant is going to be lumo dot lumo dot dark. Okay, now let's restart. Alright, started, and let's refresh, and there we go. All right, so now we are in the dark theme, and let's proceed with our phone book implementation. So we head over to our code, and here we need to add some data, right? So what we can do is close the config one, view. All right, so what we have to do is we need to add a data into the grid, right? So for that, what we have to do is we need to this thing grid dot set items, right? So here this method you need to provide a list of person, right? So let's create one list. So what to do is let's create here Patna and say person list, right? And the list is going to be Java util, and let's change it to person list. Okay, and this is redundant. All right, now, and we need to add some data here. So let me copy this thing. So I have some certain data I added. So we are adding some data here, and then we just say over here string set items person list, right? And save it, restart, and okay, all right, started, and let's head to our browser and reload it, and there you. All right, so we have a grid which can list down the records. Okay, next step is to add a filter over here, right? So let's head to that, and what I'm going to do is now we need to add the filtering over here. So what I will do is let's create a search field, right? So text field, let's name it filter. Okay, create, and let's say search field, right? So let's name it search field, and what we are saying is we are not labeling anything, let's leave it. And then you can also define a placeholder, right? You can say that set placeholder, and here we can say search. So that way it is still presentable, and we are not using much of the space. So search field dot set value change mode, right? So whenever we are typing it should sense, right? So value change mode is eager. Okay, and then we can say search field dot add value change listener. So whenever a value is changed, we need some action to be performed, right? So that if I am searching for my name, so as soon as I started typing hi, it will started refreshing the list to narrow down the results right from the first alphabet, right? So now next thing is, okay, here one thing we need to do is, here we are setting the items. So this method, actually we need this, right? So we are going to use this method. And why? Because this have a method of refresh all, which is responsible to refresh the grid. So whenever I am typing something, it will ask grid to refresh. Okay, and then I will save it. And then for this view also, we are saying dot add filter. So what filter is will be like, we are saying let's say person, right? We are, because the user is going to search for some name, right? It's a first name or a last name, but it's going to be a name, right? So we say person, and then what we are looking for is, we are looking for the search value. So we say search equals search field dot get value, right? All right, so here what we are doing is we are getting the value whatever is typed so far into this field. Okay, so if I have typed h, then h will be read here, and this method will be activated because on every change we are firing a refresh all. All right, now here we need to be cautious. Let me add something else. Search dot is empty. Okay, let's leave it for now. All right, so now we get the search value, but we need a comparator, something to compare it with. So we need to compare this value with my first name, okay, as well as my last name, right? So let's say if I want to search John, but I don't know his first name, I want to search it as a Doe. So if I type Doe, then also I expect John to come up. Similarly, if I am searching for Trot, if I'm looking for Chris, so even if I type Trot, I should get the record of Chris. So our search should work both on first name and last name, right? Okay, so for that, first what we're going to do is, we will create a matcher, right? So let's create a helper method, I would say, now, and say static boolean match term, all right? And here you're saying which column, like whether first name, last name, and then search the search value, right? And what we are checking is, we will be returning whether column dot to lowercase, right, dot contains search dot to lowercase, right, like this. So if any so it's a simple utility method. Like if you view it in isolation, what we are saying is, we are comparing these two, whether this search value is present in this column value, right? It's a simple utility method, but how we are going to use it here, so that it can bind to our person first name and last name variables, is in this way. So what we are going to say is return here, and then we are going to call our match term, and this one is actually person dot get person dot first name. So this is representing our record. Okay, so this is representing our record, first name, and comma, and in the master the second thing is the search value we need to pass, right? So we say search, and that's it, right? So let's check it for now. So right now I'm just checking it with the first name. All right, and then we are saying search field, and yeah, one more thing, we need to add search field also. So the sequence you are adding here, in the same way it will be rendered in your UI. So now I am adding search field in front of grid, so search field will appear first and then the grid. Okay, so let's restart and see. Okay, started. So let's refresh it. See, we are getting a search field, right? So now if I search for, let's say, John, see, if I'm typing J, I'm getting John, and if I'm typing H, see, so H contains in 3 of the first name, so it is coming. But right now if I search for DO, it's not appearing, right? Because our filter is only with first name. So let's update our code and add it for the second name, last name also. So we'll use the same method, utility method here, and we just update this condition, right? So you're getting what I did. I just, so in order to rewrite this code here, I just created a multiple utility method. So if you have more fields, you can just use the same method and add on. Like here I am going to use last name now. That's it, right? And restart, and okay, started. So head over here, refresh. All right, so let's search for burn, right? So we say BU and see, we are getting the Charles record. All right, let's say trot, and yes, our search feature is working fine, but this search looks small, so we can increase its width also. So what we can do is we can say this one, search field, what we can increase the width, and you can say that, okay, increase it, make it 50% of the view, right? So that way we can do, and we can, if we just quickly restart and see, started. Okay, and then refresh it. Now you can see a much bigger search bar. All right, so now our listing is working, our search is working. Next action item we have is to get a form where a user can add onto this data. So now we need to add more data from our UI. All right, so for that, what we are going to do is we will be using a layout and another layout. So let's create one layout, and this time what I'm going to do is I will be creating a form layout. So I'll create a method here which will be returning which will be giving me a form, right? So you say add person form, right? And let's say, right, all right. And since this is going to be our main view, we have to add this form layout into this one, right? So let's say I want to add it even before search field, so you can add it right away, right? So this is what I was showing you earlier. You can add a layout inside another layout, and that's how you can build your UI of with a combination of horizontal and vertically placed elements. All right, so here we're going to say form layout, and let's say form layout into new form layout, and then just return it. All right, now it's time to add elements here. So whatever form layout elements we are going to add, it will be started appearing into our main view, because we have already invoked this add person form here, so they will start getting reflected, right? So all right, so it's a quick one. Let's test it out. So we say text field. Let's say I want to add a first name, right? So we say new text field and say first name, right? And save it, and then we need to add this first name into the form layout, right? So before returning it back, we can simply call form layout add. So it's, you see, this is the same method we are using here, right? Here we are calling you like this dot add for this one, right? Here we are calling for this one form layout dot add. So here you say first name, that's it. Now if I restart, which I will do, I should be getting one text field in my view, which should have a label as first name. All right, let's see and refresh, and yes, we have a first name, right? Let's keep on adding our other fields for the form. So similarly, we are going to add three text fields. So we'll be adding first name, last name, home phone, work phone, and then we are going to add a button, right? So we'll say add button. All right, and for now, just we say that add click listener and say notification. You can also sorry, not this notification, notification of this one. So you see how how convenient the methods, the components are. So now what this click listener will do, it will so when I'm clicking on this button, it will show me a nice notification stating record added, right? So, and then we just need to add all these in our form layout. So here we have a first name is done, and similarly we can have a last name, home, work, add button like this. Okay, now restart and let's see how our view looks right now. All right, started. Go ahead, refresh it, and there you go. See, we have first name, last name, home phone, work phone, and see how nicely they are placed, right? And add button also. And now if I click on this add button, see, I'm getting this notification, and they all get stacked up if you are adding more, and they will all fade out. All right, okay, so now next task is to make it work and add whatever data is provided by the user in these fields to be listed down in our grid. Right, so first thing, we will not be doing the notification here, and what we will do is we'll create like this. Instead, we will use notification as our validation and also help user to provide the valid input. So what I'm going to do is I will say that, okay, if first name is empty, right, and one of the home like home is empty, okay, or work is empty, right? So what I'm saying is like if first name is if you have not provided the first name, then it is a false. Okay, then also I want you to add some name. You should have a first name, and I'm saying like even if you have provided a first name, but you have not provided any of the numbers, then also you need to provide something. Either you provide a home or work, right? All right, so if you are doing like this, then I will just return and will not do anything. All right, and let's see how it will behave. and okay, we can check that later. But if you have provide me the valid value, then I'm going to create a new person object. So what I will do is I will let me pull here this. So what I'm going to do is first name is this field. Okay, so I'm fetching the value from here, first name, and similarly for last name from home, from work, right? And then I'm creating a new person object. Okay, and then finally I will be updating in the list, right? All right, let's see and test our application. All right, so now if I don't provide anything here and I just click on add, it will give me an error. Kindly enter first name and one phone number. So if I enter name and just click on add, okay, I think there is an issue with our code. Okay, sorry. So it should be like this actually. So if first name is empty, if either this is true or both of them are empty. All right, so let's see now. And okay, so here refresh it. All right, so if I'm saying no first name, I'm getting an error. If I'm providing the name and sending, then I'm also getting the error. If I'm providing a name and any number, then I should not be getting an error, right? And same thing if I here do this same thing, then also. All right, perfect. All right, so there is a slight coding mistake here, so this is fine now. And but one thing we observe when I'm adding the data, if we just go here and let's say Johnson speed, right? And here I'm giving a phone number, let's say something like this, and then here also work phone, I'm giving something like this. And I add it. It should be adding a record, right? But it is not adding. Like at least we are not getting it onto the view. So we need to do something for this. And the issue here is, even though we are adding in the list, we are not refreshing the grid like we were doing here for the search field. So okay, so let's take a step back and we see how the search field work. Whenever we are making changes into the search field, the change listener is getting activated and it is responsible to invoke the refresh of the list. And then when this list is getting refreshed, it is activating a filter, and that filter is actually listening the value from the search field and then putting the condition, and accordingly we are getting the result. So whenever we are making changes, we are calling the refresh one. Similarly here, when we are adding the data, we need to call the refresh, right? So for that, what we can do is we can copy this first and get a class variable. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is I will remove here slight refactoring. All right, and then we go down, and here also we are going to call the refresh all. Right, that's it. Now let's restart. Okay, it started, and head over here, refresh, and let's name it Johnson speed number 3, something like this, and let's say this, and add it, and there we go. We are getting the record, right? And now if I try to search speed, I should be getting, and that's it. All right, so this is fine. Now I need to add another record, but in order to do that, I need to clean these up, right? Instead, we can create one button here which will just clear all these fields for us. So it's simple, and as we did for earlier. Just copy it and we say clear button and we text it as clear, and then what we expect is to clear. Okay, let's move this one down like this. Okay, so we are creating a clear button, and what it will do, it will clear all these 4 fields, right? And we need to add it after add button. So we say clear button, that's it, and it will be placed perfectly by the form layout, right? So as we see so far, like we added multiple components, like 4 fields and 1 button, and form layout automatically adjusted their placement, and it still looks presentable. So you don't need to get into that alignment things to narrow these down, though you can do the CSS customizations if you want, but by default also, out of the box also, it's very neat and very much presentable. Alright, so let's refresh and let's try to add a new user. Okay, I mean, it's just testing the clear, so I can add anything here, and I'll just say clear and it clears out. Alright, so that's how it is. See how easy it is that we are able to create a simple phone book, and this one is working same as we have in our phones. The search functionality is pretty neat, right? So yeah, I mean, if you want to add more filters with respect to number, you can do that also, and yeah, that's how easy it is to work with Vaadin. Yeah, that's all in this video. If you have any suggestions and feedback, please let me know in the comment section. All right, yeah, thank you everyone. Thanks for watching.